What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another glorious review for TWD Dead City. And happy 4th of July to everybody out there. So, hey, go America. Hope you guys are having a great, safe holiday out there. But let's get straight into The Walking Dead here, Dead City. So, episode 3, People Are a Resource is the name of the episode. And it was quite literal, and I guess non-literal in some senses. We get to find out about the Croat and how he had some, I guess, scientific studies in the background of his career and so forth, and he was able to basically turn dead people and their methane gases into power. I couldn't help but start thinking about the old Mad Max Thunderdome, when they're using the pig shit, the methane, to fuel the city. But anyways, yeah, they've created some kind of liquidized form of energy. That's pretty cool, and just in general, but doesn't take away from the whole point that the Croat is one devious little you-know-what. And we get a real good close-up of Perlie, okay, the ranger, and his interactions. And I gotta admit, it was kind of annoying how he wasn't talking or saying anything to the Croat. Obviously, I guess he could tell what the Croat was trying to do, right? He was dangling food and dinner in front of him, this and that. But that was one hell of a scene, though, when he opened up his meal and he saw that maggot in there, and I guess the meat was diseased. And he looked to the guy who served it to him. He goes, "You tried to serve me, dead meat, or nasty meat or whatever that's rotted." And the guy's like, "No, it was so." And anyways, he goes over, makes him swallow Perlie's key, and then knocks him a good one and tosses him over. It looks like they're in like Madison Square Gardens or something like that, or some kind of amphitheater, venue or some of the sorts, where there's lots of like box office areas, where you go to view the singer or sport event or whatever they're doing. So that was kind of a cool backdrop in general. And we got to hear a little bit of backstory about that with the director at the end of the show, saying how he was up doing rewrites and working in the background, and he'd hear like zombie noises and people screaming, I guess, while filming was going on. So I thought that was kind of cool, a little behind the scenes. But yeah, so Perlie, yeah, he gets basically tossed into the Thunderdome. Actually, the more I think about it, this episode was very Thunderdome-ish, right? Because he gets tossed into that cage match, right? Where they first send in the dude who swallowed the key. He's zombified now, and Perlie does, what he does, I guess, and manages to get his handcuffs around the guy and rips his head off, gets the key, and is able to take out a few other walkers before becoming a Perlie sandwich. So I guess that was pretty cool. The Croat, always observant, always looking out, noticed him with his boot. He found the letter. We find out that letter was not... I always thought originally it was Perlie maybe writing something that he never mailed, but apparently it was a letter he received, and it looks like it was from his brother. Could have been just as the apocalypse was happening, or maybe just after. I think he was asking for his brother to basically come out and kind of help him because he couldn't deal with it all, and I guess that makes sense why we finally saw what Perlie's brother, he had killed himself. He just couldn't handle the apocalypse and everything that was going on. So we got a lot of backstory around that. Meanwhile, Negan and Maggie are trying to work with the little survivor crew of New York to try and get some payback on the Croat. So Maggie, in one turn, will get her son back, and in the other, the survivor crew won't have to deal with the Croat or any of his crazy peoples anymore. But not everybody is on board, though. Luther. I was trying to like Luther and trying to see, what's this guy all about, and he's huge, he's probably a good fighter and so forth. But there's something about Negan. It just wasn't sitting well. We could see it from the beginning of the episode. He was putting on some kind of beeswax or something like that on a cut, and Negan says, "Hey, mind if I get a little bit of that?" And he's like, "No." Just real cold. It's just like, oh, okay. So you can already kind of tell where that was going, and it didn't go anywhere good for tonight, right? And so, spoilers aside, or excuse me, we're going to talk about it. 3, 2, 1. Luther, what the hell were you thinking? Was it really worth... I guess he was thinking in his mind, this is my family. I'm not about to let this murderer or whatever just come in and start dictating orders or get us in trouble or get us killed, for that matter. But he basically calls Negan out. He finds Negan's wanted poster. We got to hear a little bit more story about that and the people that were killed. We'll get to that in just a moment. But yeah, Luther's basically calling him out, and Negan's basically saying, "Listen, we're on the same side. We want to." He was doing pretty much everything I felt one could do before making it go to the next level or even past that. And Luther just kept stepping in front of him, like you're not going anywhere. You're leaving tonight. This and that. And Negan's just like, okay, if it's going to be like that. And then they just get after it. And I can't believe, first Luther's like putting that huge bear hug on him, and Negan takes that cheese grater across his forehead, which, oh, good Lord, had to hurt something awful. And then the jackass falls backwards and then falls on some kind of spike whatever gas line or something in the back, and it went right through his the back of his neck, and then Negan finished him off, which that was a pretty cold look from Negan when he did that. And I know they talked about that at the end of the episode too, from the director, that kind of moment where it's like, Negan's a killer. He's murdered, he's done awful things, and as much as we want him to be a good guy, or maybe that borderline gray line good guy or whatever, is he really? I want to say yes, and I hope so, because I think he wants to do right. He wants to do right by Ginny. We got to see a flashback for them too. As for where Negan and there was 4 people he killed and a magistrate or something like that. So apparently we went back in time to where we found out about Annie and their son. I think it was Joshua. I may be getting that wrong, but I think it was Joshua. But I guess they were living somewhere, and Annie had gone in for a trade or whatever. Well, long story short, she got jumped, beaten probably half to death or whatever, because she didn't return. Negan had to go out looking for her, and he located the 5 guys and killed them all. So, okay, I guess we have our story now. So Negan did what he had to do, and I think a lot of us, fair to say, if you're of that aggressive style, you probably would have done the same thing for a loved one, especially your wife and child for that matter. So now we know why Perlie's after him. We know the backstory with Negan, Ginny, and we got to see a little bit of that with her talking issue. Negan, there were some times there was a flashback, and he was calling her out about how you need to say something if you're in trouble. How am I going to keep you alive? And then she ends up doing like a little whistle thing, and they come to a common ground, and you can see Negan trying to work with her. So you see that loving and caring that Negan is capable of. He wants to help people. I think it's possible to go to that side, but he is not afraid to go to that next and beyond level to get done what needs to be done. I guess that's the easiest way I can put it. So yeah, here we are. So I guess in the next episode, we're going to see Maggie and Negan and Forrest going into the Madison Square or wherever the heck kind of amphitheater place they are, a dome or whatever. And but I don't think things are going to go well. Not go well at all. I think I hit on most of the big highlights for tonight. But yeah, the buddy of mine was just asking me the other day, are you enjoying Dead City? And I said, heck yeah, I am enjoying it. It's really awesome. IMDb is getting an average score of 8. I think this one had like a 7.9, but that's dang close enough. If I had to give this a score tonight, I think an 8 is a solid number. It was just a solid, really good episode. Got to understand a little bit more about the Croat, some backstory on Negan, Jenny, where Annie and their son. Oh, and basically we find out on a side note, we found out that Annie and the son were on some kind of wagon train headed towards Missouri. Hey, that's where we are. Maybe we'll see them. No, just kidding. But anyways, they're headed our way, and Negan said he decided not to follow. And why? Because he didn't want to probably get tracked down by the Rangers and so forth, and that was going to be an even harder life for Annie and their son. So he let them go. So it's pretty big move, pretty noble. Except that now they're probably worried about him. Plus, they could be in danger. They're probably safest when he's around. Of course, I guess that could be argued. Or does he just get them into more trouble? A lot of questions there. But, like I said, I want to like Negan, as a good guy. But he's not really our good guy. Maybe he's kind of more like our anti-hero, really, when you think about it. But hey, let me know what you thought about the episode. Are you enjoying it? Is it going where you thought it would? Or you seen some surprises? I love the city backdrops, the locations. The zombies are looking great. Some of the situations. Some of the characters we still need to flesh out a little bit. But hey, overall, pretty dang solid experience, I'd say. So, thanks for coming back out to the Z-Man Show. I'm Mike here. Make sure to come out and see my reviews on a weekly basis. I have other fun stuff on my channel. So with that said, that is a review for Dead City. People are a resource, and I will catch you guys at the next review. See you guys.